Dr. V. Premalata. She pursued her undergraduate in BSc Biology at the University of Madras. She then went on to do her teaching degree in the University of Madras. Taking a keen interest in Sanskrit, she then studied masters in Sanskrit with Karnataka Open University. She pursued her MPhil, which was on Gorakshanata's Amanask Yoga, which is a unique treatise that explains yoga, which is benefit of mind. She continued her studies with a doctorate in Sthala Vrakshas in the Puranas, a biosocial study. Her focus on research is mainly in different fields of biological science from ancient Sanskrit treatises.
Swagatam. Welcome to UGC series in Sanskrit language. Today we are going to discuss horticulture, that is Vriksha Ayurveda, and the topic will be Upavana Vinoda. And the contents will be the introduction of the text Sarngadhara Paddhati and the topic Upavana Vinoda, in particular the necessity for Upavana and the greatness of the trees. India is very rich in biodiversity and we have many endemic species of flora and fauna only special to our Indian subcontinent. There are about 45,000 species of trees and all members of plant kingdom are represented in India. Some of them are very rare. So, we are going to study about Vriksha Ayurveda, and that is botany, and the chapter Upavana Vinoda from the text Sarngadhara Paddhati. Now, Sarngadhara Paddhati is an anthology of Sanskrit verses compiled by Sarngadhara. The author has included many subjects in his compendium of verses. Many branches of science and arts have been extensively dealt with in this book. Biological sciences have also been discussed, and the chapter 82, that is Upavana Vinoda, falls under the purview of Vriksha Ayurveda. Now, what is Upavana? Upavana, according to Monier Williams, is a planned forest, a very small forest, or it is a garden, and many books have been written on Vriksha Ayurveda. Botany has been dealt with as a branch of biology with special emphasis on horticulture in this book, and it is from the era of Yajurveda, Atharva Veda, Shatapatha Brahmana, Vajasaneyi Samhita to Puranas like Agni Purana, Matsya Purana, Vishnu and other Puranas. They have lot of details and they have been enumerated in our scriptures. And astronomical texts like Brihat Samhita and Ayurveda texts like Charaka Samhita and Shushruta Samhita also contain immense horticultural details. And now we go to Upavana Vinoda text. The necessity for a garden is explained by the author, first 3 verses, and then we see the greatness of trees, the trees suitable for a garden, layout with Vastu aspects of a garden, the type of soil, classification of plant kingdom and planting procedures including the astrological details, watering, protection of trees, gardening techniques, water divination, plant nutrition, the pathological humors, pest control and treatment for different conditions, and the propagation of new varieties of plants. We come to the first shloka in the chapter. So, the author says that one who owns a garden in his residence is veritably a king. Let us see how. Griheshi yasya vipula ramaha sa prithivipatihi pumsam sarva sukhaika sadhana palaha saundarya garvodhvara kridalola vilasini janamanah spita pramodavahaha gunjad bringa vinidra pankajabhara sporolasa dheergika yuktaha. That is, if you have a garden, beautiful garden with ponds dense with lotuses, with bees hovering around them and a lot of plants, it brings immense joy when you sit in such a garden and it relaxes you, you get exhilaration and everyone loves such a garden. Navam vayo hari vapuhu varangana sakha kalavit kalavallika svanah dhanam hi sarvam viphalam sukaishino vina vihara upavanani bhupatehe. So, he says, without a garden, what is the use of having a lot of luxuries? Like prime of youth, you are so youthful, and you have your companions, and then you have fine music, musical instruments are being played, and a lot of wealth. You have everything to enjoy, in short, but all these are in vain if you do not possess a garden around your house. So, the third shloka says, pondering all the shastras, I means the author Sarngadhara, I have considered to explain the meaningful teachings just who seek the supreme knowledge, and they are great souls, santaha, with good nature, who have reflected on different matters of the universe and rendered this for the benefit of all. Shastrani tavad avalokya, they have pondered all the shastras. Maya muninam artah sa eva gatitah paramartha yuktaya. So, these are the words of the sages and not mine. Evam vilokya nikhilam cha vicharayantah santah svabhava sarala mudam apnuvantu. So, we have seen the necessity for having a garden around our house, and he becomes veritably a king who has a garden around his house. Now, we go to Taru Mahima, that is the greatness of trees, and this chapter lists all the religious benefits one gets by planting a tree, and specific trees are mentioned with their names, and plants are also mentioned. And in ancient India, rituals were structured based on science and incorporated as a way of life, and the plant species that are mentioned have medicinal and other values. They are to be preserved. The chapter following it lists the trees that are auspicious and inauspicious, and Vastu Vidya is also based on biological, physical and astrological, that is astronomical sciences, and that is also discussed. So, in Taru Mahima, the first shloka says, Bahubihi bada kim jatehi putraihi dharmartha varjitaihi varam ekah pathi taruhi yatra vishramate janah. So, what is the use of having many sons devoid of righteousness? Dharma artha varjitaihi. So, the four purusharthas, dharma, artha, kama, moksha. If you have a lot of sons devoid of all this, and what is the use of prosperity if you do not have a single tree on the road which will give you a lot of solace? You can rest under the tree, you can eat its fruits and relax. Then this the coming shloka is very important shloka. You see them in many Puranas. Parvati is confronted by the 7 sages who observe her planting Ashoka saplings and other trees in her garden in the ashrama. So, the 7 sages tell her, what a wasteful exercise this is. Why do you want to plant trees and waste your youth in all this? And Parvati gets very angry, and she says, Dashakopa sama vapi, Dashavapi samo hridah, Dashahrida samaha putro, Dashaputra samo drumah. Parvati says that 10 wells are equivalent to a vapi. Vapi is a step well. 10 vapis are equal to a lake. 10 lakes are equal to a sun, and 10 suns are equal to a tree. If she says 10 suns are equal to a tree, you can imagine the importance of a single tree. Then we come to a garden with an abundance of fruit yielding trees, and the author says that one who plants such a garden lives in the abode of Shiva, Kailasha, for a period of 3 yugas. Kridaramam tu yaha kuryat uddhama pala samyutam sa gachet shankarapuram vaset tatra yugatrayam. Then etat sarvam parignyaya vriksharopam samarabhet dharmartha kama mokshanam drumebhyah sadhanam yatah. So, understanding this, start planting trees. They are the means of accruing dharma, prosperity, desires and salvation. So, now we come to Tulasi in particular. Yavat dinani tulasi ropita yat grihe vaset tavad varsha sahasrani vaikunte sa mahiyate. As long as a tulasi plant is maintained at a house, till such time he is extolled at Vaikunta. Tulasi is a very important herb and it is Ocimum sanctum belonging to the family Labiatae, and it is propitiated in the houses and in temple. It has a lot of therapeutic values. All the parts of the shrub have medicinal value. It is a germicide. Leaf is a remedy for colds, snake poison, antidote, and revives consciousness when in shock from lightning, thunder and all that, and it fights malaria, stomach and skin problems. And if you have fever, hemorrhage, and you can eat a few tulasi leaves. And it is a vermifuge, and tulasi root is a cure for seminal disorders, and it is very safe on infants. Even to children you can give tulasi kashaya or a few drops of tulasi boiled in water. And even if you do not have any space in your house, if you have a very small apartment, please keep a small tulasi plant in your balcony or wherever there is a little sunshine, and keep a plate under it so that the water does not drain on the floor, and keep the tulasi always under sunlight. We come to the next shloka, which says that Bilva tree is Shiva's favorite. Yes, Yastu Sambropayed Vilvam Shankara Preeti Karakam Tat Kuleyapi Sada Lakshmihi Santishtet Putra Pautriki. In the family of one who plants Shiva's favorite Bilva tree, Goddess Lakshmi stays happily along with sons and grandsons. That is, one who grows a Bilva tree has a lineage of sons and grandsons. And let us see the therapeutic values of Bilva. Bilva is Aegle marmelos belonging to the family Rutaceae. All the plants of the tree have medicinal value. It is one of the ingredients of Dashamula, and drink from the fruit eliminates anemia. It counteracts morning sickness, and during early pregnancy it is administered to pregnant women. It is very safe, and it brightens and tightens facial skin when used as a face pack, and it has a lot of other medicinal values also. And then we come to Ashwatha. Ashwatha is nothing but people tree. Evameva hi yo yaha ashwatham ropayet vidhina naraha yatra kutrapi vasthane kachet sa bhavanam harehe. So, one who plants an ashwatha as per the rules and regulations of planting an ashwatha tree attains the abode of Hari, since wherever he goes, that place becomes Vaikunta for him. We are studying about Ashwatha. Ashwatha is Ficus religiosa belonging to the family Urticaceae, and it helps in cardiovascular enhancement, and it is also a conception aid, and the other uses are it helps in ulcers and skin disorders. Seeds, tender shoots and leaves are used, and it helps reduce inflammation. The ground bark is applied on inflammation, and it is one of the ingredients of Panchavalkala Kashaya, and it helps in weight loss. Then we come to Amalaki. Amalaki is hailed as Sanjeevani fruit. Tena ishta bahavo yajnaha tena datta vasundhara yasada brahmachari syat ena dhatri praropita. One who performs many sacrifices, gives lands and grows a dhatri or Amalaki plant always remains a bachelor. Amalaki or Amla is the synonym of dhatri. So, let us see the therapeutic values. Amalaki is Embolica officinalis or Embolica myrobalan, and belonging to the family of Euphorbiaceae, and it is very rich in vitamin C. It is an antioxidant. It cures piles and uterine disorders, cervical disorders in particular. It is a cure for breast cancer and all types of cancer in women and others also. Leaves, fruits and seeds are used. The fruit drink reprieves burning feeling, and different drugs made with other myrobalan species are used extensively in Ayurveda. It is used in collyrium, and Triphala is also a very important Ayurvedic preparation, and you can see in the picture Bibhitaki and Haritaki along with Amala, and this is the basis of Triphala preparations. And now we come to our banyan tree. You should have seen lot of banyan trees around, huge banyan trees with all the roots everywhere in India. And if one plants a couple of banyan trees in keeping with the rules and regulations, he resides in the abode of Shiva, served by the Apsara damsels. Vatavriksha-dvayam martyo ropayed yah yatha vidhi Shivaloke vased saha api sevitas Apsara ganaihi. So, he will be served by Apsara damsels. So, Vata is very important for women and for others also, and it is known as Ficus bengalensis, belonging to the family Atticaceae, and it has many therapeutic values, one of them being the changing of the sex of the fetus inside the mother's uterus. You may not believe it, but Sushruta endorses this. This is the shloka that you see in Sushruta Samhita. Charaka Samhita also says that, and it stops bleeding during pregnancy, and it prevents miscarriage, and it stops morning sickness and burning sensation, and strengthens muscles and prevents abortion. That is why we have this Vata Savitri Vrata that is being performed by women. So, an expert in Dharma Shastras plants 3 neem trees, says the author. So, neem is also equally important. Nimbatrayam samaropya naro dharma vichakshanah Suryalokam samasadhya vaset abda ayuta trayam. That is, he lives in the abode of Surya for 30,000 years. Now, we are well versed in mathematics. Vedic mathematics is very well known now, and abda ayuta trayam means 30,000 years. We had Sanskrit names, terms for all the numerals in those days, and Melia azadiracta is the botanical name. It is also known as a neem tree, and it belonging to the family Meliaceae. Azadiracta indica is another name, and the therapeutic values are, it is a part of Panchanimba Gutika, and all parts of the trees are useful. Bark and leaf are particularly very useful, and neem oil is extracted from the leaves and externally used for leprosy, ulcers, skin diseases, asthma, syphilis, etc. It is antiviral, antifungal, antibacterial, it is a germicide, and it is a remedy for smallpox family of diseases. And juice from leaves expels intestinal parasites. It is an insect repellent, and leaves can be burned to ward off mosquitoes, and leaves prevent white ants also. It cures fevers, skin diseases, scorpion bite, and the powder is used in cosmetology. So, we come to Plaksha trees now. Men without any doubt obtain the merit of a Rajasuya sacrifice, one of the great sacrifices, Rajasuya Yaga, if they plant 4 Plaksha trees.
Chaturnam Plakshvrikshānam Ropanat na atra samshayah Rajasuyasya yajñasya phalam prapnoti manavah.
So, Plaksha is Ficus retusa, belonging to the family Atticaceae, and the therapeutic values are immense. It filters all the pollutants from our atmosphere, especially the gaseous pollutants. The bark cures liver disorders, and the bark decoction is used to cure ulcers and leprosy, and the latex from root is used in all the Ayurvedic preparations. Now, we come to the common mango. So, mangoes are very precious in India, because during the mango season we make achar, we make all types of preparations from ripe mangoes and raw mangoes. The author says that one who plants 5 mango trees on the paths or gardens and helps the salvation of those who departed and the future generations of his lineage. Pancha Amran Ropayet Yastyu Margeshu Pavaneshu Cha Bhutan Bhavishyan Purushan Tarayetsa Chaturdasha. So, anyone who plants 5 mango trees on the paths or gardens gives salvation of those who departed and the future generations also, says the author. So, we know that the amra or the mango gives a lot of vitamins and it has a lot of therapeutic values. It is a very common tree. Now, we will go to Shirisha tree. Shirisha Shakhinam Shannam Yah Kuryad Pratiropanam Garudam Lokam Asadhya Modate Devavat Sada. By planting 6 Shirisha trees, one attains the abode of Garuda, enjoying the life of a celestial. This is the Shirisha flower, so beautiful. It is Albizia lebec,
belonging to the family Mimosaceae.
We now go to Palasha. 10 Palasha trees should be planted, or at least one should be grown for the attainment of Brahmaloka, where the planter is hailed as the best among celestials. Palasha Shakinah Sapta Ropayet Ekameva va Brahmalokam Avapnoti Pujyate cha Amarotamah. So, this is Palasha. See the shape of the leaf. Name is Butea monosperma, belonging to the family Papilionaceae. It has beautiful red flowers. And now we go to Udambara. A person planting 8 Udambara trees himself or inspiring others to plant them, he need not plant them by himself, even if he causes others to plant them, lives happily in the abode of Chandra. Udambara Druman Ashtav Ropayet Swayamevayah Prerayet Ropanayapi Chandralokesa Modate. So, this is Udambara Ficus glomerata, belonging to Urticaceae. So, it is very useful in gynecology. It stops bleeding during the 4th month, and a drink from dried fruit pieces boiled with milk and herbs is given to the expectant mother, and this is the shloka for that, and it is a remedy for visceral obstructions, effective in diabetes including gestational diabetes, that is during pregnancy, and it should be given with monitoring for expectant mothers. The bark is galactagogic, that is it increases the breast milk secretion. Now, we have the summary. To summarize what we have learnt, first we saw the reasons for constructing a garden, and then we saw the importance of planting trees and the religious merits one gets, like going to Vaikuntha or obtaining the Suryaloka or the abode of Garuda and all that, and we saw the common benefits also. Because they are very therapeutic in value, extensively used in Ayurveda, these trees have to be preserved, and that is the reason they were included in all the religious practices and were hailed as giving utmost religious merits. And now we come to the questions. I am going to ask you 3 questions. What is Vriksha Ayurveda and why do we need a garden in our premises? What is a single tree equal to and why? What are the attainments obtained by planting Amla, Vata, Ashwatha, Nimba and Tulasi? With this, we come to the end of this lecture. Thank you.